Good evening, everybody. It's my privilege to open tonight's celebration to welcome you all to the 73rd Annual Dinner of the Somerville Chamber of Commerce. First off, I'd like to recognize our mayor, Joe Curtatone, who a moment ago was right here. Where did he disappear? Oh, across the table. It's great to see everyone here. We have a very full agenda tonight, but I do want to make a few quick comments if I could. These are both exciting and challenging times for the city, and certainly for you, the businesses that provide jobs, products, and services that help make and keep Somerville vibrant and a desirable place to be. This Chamber of Commerce is here to support your efforts. Steve Mackey, as well as numerous board and chamber members, spend countless hours sitting in on city council and various committee meetings representing your interests on a wide variety of issues. Through our weekly news updates and information readily available on our website, we help to keep you informed of events and issues that may concern you. Remember at all times that help may just be a phone call away. In addition to our advocacy role, we provide a number of networking opportunities during the year to help you promote your businesses, including our very popular monthly business after hours meetings, our annual golf classic, and other events. We're working on new initiatives for the coming year that should further enhance the value of your membership. The Chamber isn't just about business, though. For many years, we have produced the popular Taste of Somerville, a fabulous food fest held at the beginning of the summer that benefits local charities. You'll be pleased to know that over the years we've been doing this event has raised approximately $430,000 for local charities. I just wanted to thank this year's recipient was the Wall Street Center, who did marvelous work to help put the whole package together, and they do great work when they're at their shop. Just to sum up, I want to make the point that the Chamber is here for you. Please let us know any way that we can assist you. So, next thing I'd like to do is to ask you to please join me in thanking this evening's sponsors. First off, we have the East Cambridge Savings Bank, who sponsored our reception across the way. Delightful affair. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Adam Dash and Associates, Gentle Giant Moving Company, and Tufts University for the lovely centerpieces that you see on all of the tables. So I have the privilege now to thank and welcome our presenting sponsor, Bunker Hill Community College. And here to represent the college is Jim Canniff, Provost and Vice President of Academic Affairs and Student Affairs. Jim.
Thank you, Kevin. Welcome, everyone. We're very happy to be here annually to support the Chamber and to support the Somerville community. I just checked earlier this week, and we have just under 600 students of our 12,000 that are registered from a Somerville zip code, and 172 of those students are graduates of Somerville High School. And we are very, very pleased and very happy that they are here. Tonight, we're going to talk to you about a program that should be of interest to the business community. It is our Learn and Earn program. And the best person to talk to you about this program is Austin Gilland, who is Assistant Dean for Academic Affairs. I will ask her to come to the podium now. Austin.
Good evening, everyone. I think we're actually going to start out with a video, and then if we're ready for the video, excellent. And then I'll be back in a second. Stay tuned.
Learn and Earn is a partnership between Bunker Hill Community College and many of Greater Boston's top corporations. Our students are placed in competitive, paid internships where they gain critical hands-on, real-world experience. They're introduced to the possibility of new careers and new opportunities. Since its launch in the spring of 2012, Learn and Earn has grown to serve over 100 students per semester. They work 16 to 40 hours per week at one of our 18 company partners, earning $15 per hour. There is also a transportation stipend which enables many of our urban students to participate. Through these internships, Learn and Earn promotes confidence, empowerment, network connections, and career readiness for Bunker Hill Community College's students and for Boston's future workforce.
The Learn and Earn program took me from a two-year community college and put me right in the middle of the corporate environment.
I did my internship at Recipient, Stable Corporation, and Liberty Mutual. I was working in the tax department. I was working with international taxes, state and local.
With my internship, I was part of the security evaluation department. So what I did was just focus on evaluation of portfolios for my team-specific client.
Actual experience, sitting there in a cubicle, in front of a Mac, photoshopping things that I know is going to be relevant and that's going to be online, it's going to be like on print, and working on billboards myself, and knowing that my work is going to be seen. As a student, just having an associate is a really good feeling to have.
Given that experience, it really was a game changer. I was able to get an internship after I moved on with the Boeing Company in Seattle. I was able to get a fantastic scholarship to go to a really top-notch school, and I know that the experiences that I had working for Fidelity and Raytheon were key in being able to get that opportunity.
Just to give us an idea, how many people in the room had their first job in something like childcare, babysitting, summer camps? Okay. How about restaurants? Do we have any servers, kitchen workers, anything in the room? Absolutely. How about manual labor? Construction, yard work? Absolutely. Retail, sales? All right. Thank you for sharing that with us. The reason that I wanted to ask those questions is when we think back to those first jobs, that is the work that makes us. That is the work that builds the foundation for us to be who we are as workers. And whether it relates directly to what we're doing today or not, it really determines and builds that foundation for us. So our students, when they come to us at Bunker Hill Community College, many of them are doing that entry-level work. They're working minimum wage jobs, working very hard out in their communities. And they come to us because they want something different or more. And so they come to us to take classes, to learn and to grow. And one of the opportunities that we offer them to do that is the Learn and Earn program. Learn and Earn is our signature paid internship program that provides wages to students. We've actually increased our wage to $17 an hour to keep pace with the rising minimum wage. Yes. And we also offer the travel stipend. And the reason that we do that is our students are working minimum wage jobs, but they're steady and they're reliable. And it takes a lot of risk to try something new. And anybody who's ever changed careers know that that's a big risk. And so by providing that financial support, we're able to reduce that risk a little bit so they can jump to something new. We started the Learn and Earn program to connect students to top corporations in the Boston area. And what our students said to us was, that's cool, but I'm not a finance major. I don't want to work for a big firm. I want to work in my community. I want to do work where I can be creative, where I can work with my hands, and where I can invest in my community. And so recently we expanded Learn and Earn to include small businesses, nonprofits, civic and cultural organizations, so that students could get into their communities working with people like yourselves who are passionate about your fields to learn how to do that and to make that jump into their new fields. So we are very excited about it, and we have reached out to foundations to help us supplement funding because we know that small companies don't always have the means to pay $17 an hour. So we're able to supplement that funding sometimes to make sure that students who are working in smaller companies still get that financial benefit. And it's been really, really rewarding to us to watch our students do that, and our students are getting hired. And we know that community college students stay in their communities. So by investing in them, they are staying here, they are working, they are jumping to new careers, and it's been really great. We have plans to grow this area of Learn and Earn, and so what I will ask of you all is to think about your businesses in the Somerville community and to think about how maybe you could benefit from having a Bunker Hill Community College student in your organization. Our students are hard workers, They are smart, they are resilient, and they live here, and they want to be here. So if you are interested in working with our students, please contact us. We'd be happy to talk with you about the skills and abilities that our students could bring to you. Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening.
Good evening. My name is Stephen Mackey. I'm the president of the Chamber. It's so great to see all of you here tonight, and you look so wonderful as you always do on this special occasion for the Chamber. There are a lot of policies. First, I'd like to say thank you very much to Bunker Hill Community College, our presenting sponsor, for all the great work you and our friends do. So. Throughout the year, the Chamber is involved in a lot of public policy and business issues, things about the cost of doing business and development and so forth, and the regulatory environment. And we look forward to continuing that work with the city with the new election behind us. And congratulations to the mayor for his re-election, and to the president. And to the president of the City Council, Tatiana Ballantyne, for her re-election. There is, thanks to the mayor's leadership and President Ballantyne's leadership, there is a lot to celebrate. There's so much going on at Assembly Square. We're expecting Puma to be relocating here with their North American headquarters. There's all other kinds of development happening there. We had a very successful Taste of Somerville where we served over 1,300 people thanks to the assistance of Federal Realty Investment. We did that on the banks of the Mystic River and had a great time, and raised over $30,000 for the Walnut Street Center. In addition to events in policy, there's development going on in Boynton Yards with life sciences and office development. And all of this is also bringing along open space and office development. We have Union Square, which you're going to be hearing more about a little later on, and Greentown Labs, which is just going like crazy in terms of developing clean energy startups and bringing attention really from all over the world to Somerville. And to that we thank the mayor for the original idea of going and trying to recruit them from Boston. And thank Julia Travaglini and her team at Greentown Labs, and you'll be hearing from Julia in just a moment. In fact, we'll go ahead and we'll do it right now. I'd like to present the 2019 Powderhouse Award Committee Representative Julia Travaglini of Greentown Labs to present the awards. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. As Stephen mentioned, my name is Julia Travaglini. I'm here on behalf of the Nominations Committee. So first off, I'd like to thank the rest of my fellow members of the Chamber's Powderhouse Awards Committee. So if you're here, please wave or stand up just to acknowledge who's here. Nancy Bushnack, Rocco DeRico, Sandra McGoldrick, Sarah Rodwald, and all of the Chamber members and members of the public who nominated businesses and individuals for the 2019 awards. Thank you all. Many of you in the room may know, but in case you didn't, the Chamber's Awards are named after Somerville's famous old powder house, which was originally a windmill, a business, built around 1703. We'd appreciate now if each recipient, when you hear your name, please come up to this side of the stage to see our chair, Kevin Gatlin, for a photo. And we're going to try and keep this moving because we're probably hungry for your dinner, so we'll go right through each one. So without further ado, the first award up, excited to share that Remnant Brewing Company is our first awardee. Since open, yeah. Where are they? Since opening their doors in May of 2018, Remnant Brewing has been an important addition to Bow Market and all of Somerville. Their active contributions to local fundraisers and events have raised thousands of dollars for local charities and organizations. Remnant is more than a brewery, if any of you have been there before, which I'm sure many of you have. They're a communal gathering space with room indoors and outdoors where you can take in a movie, listen to live music, delivered by a variety of local artists while enjoying a beer with friends. The 2019 Powderhouse Award for Business Neighbor of the Year goes to Remnant Brewing Company. And next up, the next award goes to Bergamot. At Bergamot, yeah, let's do a round of applause between. Yeah, let's do it. I'm not sure what direction everyone's coming from, but come on down. At Bergamot, they've combined their love for great food, wine, and friends. You'll see Keith Pooler in the kitchen and Sergio Garcia at the door. They find the best local produce, complement it with ingredients from around the world, and serve it up with neighborhood warmth in an airy upscale setting. Progressive American cuisine enhanced by welcoming service and a relaxed atmosphere makes Bergamot a neighborhood favorite, dining favorite. The 2019 Award for Excellence in Dining and Nightlife goes to Bergamot. And the next award goes to Don Hughes. Don Hughes is Vice President at Riverside Community Care. Where's Don? Don has served on the Chamber's Board, Executive Committee, Nominating Committee, Taste of Somerville Committee, and Government Affairs Committee. He's a very busy guy. He has helped guide many Chamber policy discussions and has helped deliver many Chamber networking and special events. The Chamber is a membership-driven organization, and Don Hughes helps make that drive a worthwhile pleasure. The 2019 Powderhouse Award for Distinguished Service to the Chamber goes to Don Hughes. Next up, the next award goes to Cindy Hickey. Where's Cindy? Where's Cindy? Cindy is the director of Somerville's Council on Aging, and she has headed up Toys for Local Children for nearly 20 years. Cindy's work involves general administration and fundraising, as well as coordinating events and pickup and delivery. Toys for Local Children has distributed tens of thousands of toys in Somerville and the surrounding area. The charity is particularly active around the holidays. The Chamber's annual holiday after hours will once again benefit the Toys for Local Children. I hope you'll all be there. Throughout the year, Toys for Local Children also helps families who are displaced by fires or other difficult circumstances. The 2019 Powderhouse Award for Distinguished Service to Greater Somerville goes to Cindy Hickey of Toys for Children, Toys for Local Children. And the next award goes to Somerville YMCA. Where's Somerville? Come here. YMCA. The mission of the Somerville YMCA is to help build a healthy mind, spirit, and body through programs that support and strengthen families, develop leadership in youth, and promote self-esteem and a healthy approach to life. Each year, the Somerville YMCA reaches over 3,000 people and 1,500 youth through a variety of social, cultural, and athletic programs designed to help participants grow personally, understand others, and appreciate the world's diversity. The 2019 Powderhouse Award for Nonprofit of the Year goes to Somerville YMCA Bill Murphy, Director. And the next award I'm particularly excited about, maybe a little biased because it's a Greentown Labs member company. The next award goes to Form Energy. The MIT spinoff and Greentown Labs-based company has developed a new type of battery that can store renewable energy for months at a fraction of the current cost. The company is designing the first pilot project for commercial application in utilities and industry transitioning to renewable energy, and is truly going to transform the way the grid utilizes energy and the way we store energy. Recently named one of Boston's 50 on Fire, Form Energy has also raised a $40 million Series B round of funding led by corporate venture capital vehicle of Italian oil and gas giant Eni Group and the Bill Gates-backed Breakthrough Energy Ventures Coalition. And so we're particularly proud of them at Greentown. The 2019 Powderhouse Award for Green Business of the Year goes to Form Energy. Ted Wiley here with us. Sorry, I got a little long-winded on that one. And the next award goes to our neighbor in the Union Square area, Bow Market. Come on up, guys. So what was once just a 2-level cinder block storage building at the end of a worn asphalt lot off an alleyway in Union Square. Matthew Boyes Watson and Zach Baum transformed it into 30 arts-oriented niche shops and food outlets with an open-air courtyard. Bow Market provides small-scale storefronts to established and aspiring chefs, retailers, and artists from Somerville and Greater Boston. In developing the small, manageable, affordable retail spaces, they have created a dynamic, fun place where you can shop, eat, catch a comedy, chill out at a brewery. We heard about Remnant earlier. And we encourage you to check out bowmarketsomerville.com for special events, pop-ups, gatherings this fall. So congratulations, guys. The 2019 Powderhouse Award for Small Business of the Year goes to Bow Market. Matthew Boyes Watson and Zach Baum, the two co-founders. Next up, the next award goes to Howard Horton. Howard, where's Howard? Howard Horton launched the city's first human services department, served as the city's first director of communications, was a founder of Somerville Community TV, led the state's cable TV commission, chaired special city charter commissions, served as a parent rep to the Somerville High School Council, had the longest continuous service on the zoning board, served as co-chair of the mayor's transition team, served on the governor's transition team, and he's also raising money for the Cambridge Health Alliance. He's a very busy guy. He also serves on the Municipal Compensation Board, and he co-chairs Summer Vision 2014, our city's long-term visioning process. Known throughout the region as a leading entrepreneur in creating high-quality, affordable programs, Howard is president of New England College of Business and Finance. For his incredible 5 decades of public service, the 2019 Powderhouse Award for Excellence in Public Service goes to Howard Horton. Okay, and now, last but certainly not least, this next and last award goes to Union Square Station Associates, I believe right here. Redevelopment of Union Square represents a significant moment in Somerville's present and future. The project showcases the wisdom of a robust, intelligent community planning process. Tonight, we'd like to thank the people of US2 for staying the course. Leveraging the construction of the new Union Square MBTA station and the Green Line extension will deliver important economic benefits and increase tax revenue and help realize the community's vision as articulated through years of community planning and input that resulted in Summer Vision and the Union Square Neighborhood Plan. The first phase will include the single largest construction of inclusionary units in the history of Somerville and a landmark life sciences building. US2 is moving us to realizing an environmentally responsible, transit-focused Union Square that supports responsible growth while creating a thriving next-generation neighborhood. The 2019 Powderhouse Award for Excellence in Economic Development goes to Union Square Station Associates Justin Coons, whom just accepted the award. Alrighty, that's all we had for the awards part of the segment. We'd like to give another final round of applause for all the award recipients. Please join me. All right, and I think now, please enjoy your dinner, and we'll be back in just a few moments.
You will see on the dinner program that VDA is providing us major technical equipment and support to deliver tonight's audio and video content. VDA is an award-winning experiential event design agency located just a block from here. Their clients' goals drive the designs, allowing VDA to craft memorable events, cater to client objectives that build connections and drive responses in attendees. VDA has watched as times and trends have changed, and the focus of events has shifted from the stuff to the engagement, the creativity, the innovation, and the disruption factor. VDA is a solution-driven, out-of-the-box company with the knowledge and experience to deliver truly unique events. Here's a brief look. please welcome our newly re-elected Mayor, Joe Curtatone.
I promised Kevin I'd first announce the next series of bridge closures, so. Only kidding. You're only going to hate us for a little while longer as they start opening up in the spring. So, but it's great to be here with all of you. This is, I don't believe I've missed one in 23 years. So I struggled to find it. I remember being at the one here, I was mentioning to someone 23 years ago, when the most innovative new company award was given to this, you may have heard of this company called iRobot. Started on the second floor of the Twin City Plaza office building. And Jack, I think you and I were here, and then 2 days later they left Somerville. I think I said to Steve and Tom, hey, did anybody ask what they were doing here? You know? But it's great to see. The number 489 sticks out in my mind, and many of you here, the number of new businesses, net new businesses in the city of Somerville that have either located, grown, and been cultivated here from 2012 to 2018. That is extraordinary. It really is, big and small. Most of them small businesses, many micro businesses, 5 people, including the owner employees. I do want to recognize first, you have here in the city of Somerville, we are blessed some incredible staff. The executive director of the Office of Strategic Planning and Community Development, George Proakis, Tom Gatlin, Sarah and the whole team, the whole table. You won't, from economic development, from planning, they are really the standard, the gold standard. And we are blessed to have them in the organization and critical to the strategic growth of the city. And we've worked together on that as a community, as businesses, as residents, as a chamber, as a city organization, to be ready for the next round of growth coming out of the Great Recession. And it's happening here in Somerville, culminating most recently with the announcement, if you probably saw it in the business section of the Globe this past Thursday, that Edge Technologies out of Norway is coming to Somerville on Middlesex Ave. More than 500,000 square feet of office, commercial office and lab on Middlesex Ave, adjacent to the highway. That is fantastic. And we're really excited about it. And that's not by accident. But first, I want to say another great year is ending. We've come to another election season. I am just blessed and honored and privileged to represent, not only represent community, to give voice to the issues and values that animate the community. And how we grow as a community, how we think about reinvesting in the community, how we live is so much of our value statement and our value narrative. I do want to recognize a great partner from the legislative side in thinking how we grow the city strategically is the Council President, Ward 7 Council, also re-elected and congratulated Ms. Tatiana Ballantyne. I want to congratulate all the businesses and outstanding individuals being honored here tonight with the Powderhouse Award. I know all of you personally, and I know your businesses, many of you are new in the city, and many of you have served this city since I was a young lad. Gene, I mean, I used to go to your inaugurations as I remember in the orchestra, the high school band, and look up at you and talk about the city's, you talk about the city's future. Howard, I grew up in your house many years ago, and I remember who are these really young, weird people moving to Somerville back then, part of the reformers, but the great things you've all done in this community. Don Hughes and I go back in the baseball fields, the youth leagues here in the baseball fields. Cindy Hickey is just a saint in this city, the work she does for veterans and seniors and kids. So I want to congratulate you on your distinguished honors this evening. First, to all of you and the businesses, I want to thank you for all that you do to help make Somerville an exceptional place to live, to work, to play, to raise a family. You're truly valuable members of this community. And that's something I want to, and we all need to emphasize. Businesses are part of the Somerville community. The issues that affect our residents also affect our businesses. For example, we all benefit from a better transit network. Obviously, it makes it easier for residents to go about their days and to get to local businesses, and businesses benefit when their employees and customers have options to get to them. That's important. As a region, Somerville is leading the charge, embracing the opportunity to lead for a better transit network, a 21st century transportation network that serves the 21st century global economy. And we can't keep doing that with Nixon-era infrastructure. We're proving that in Somerville, but how we move is going to dictate how we live. How we define transit is going to define whether or not we can take on climate change. Whether our economy will boom will depend upon the investments we make in that infrastructure, in that network. When we talk about housing, though, it's almost always framed as a resident issue. But I think it's important, it is important to remember that housing really affects us all. So when our residents, the people we know, are spending more than 30% of their income on housing, they may not have the funds to go out to eat, or to shop, to see a show. If your employees can't afford to live near work and are spending hours commuting, and we're seeing that right now in the greater Boston region, they may understandably start looking for a job closer to home. 1 in 5 people inside 128 are thinking about moving outside of 128 rather than face the challenge in the most congested traffic region in the United States. We've seen a lot of growth in the business community, both here in Somerville and the entire Boston region, but what we lack as a region is an integrated plan on how we're going to grow the economy, buttressed by a modern, efficient, equitable transportation network and a job creation plan and a plan for climate action. But if workers are moving away to lower cost of living areas, I submit that growth will grind to a standstill. The housing crisis is one of the biggest challenges we're currently facing with, right now as a community, as a region, and it affects everyone here who calls Somerville home. It's hard to call a place home when you're in fear of displacement any month, any given time. That's whether you're a resident or a business. We've seen rents for small businesses in the inner core of the region rise as much as 35 and 40%. And we love the eclectic, resilient mix of our local small business economy. It's special. From the restaurants that we are so blessed to have predominantly owned by local, independently operated proprietors, to the eclectic mix of creative workspaces that are happening, things that make Somerville a little funky and freaky and give it that urban edge. We really don't want to lose that. This is impacting all of us, whether you're a resident or a business. So taking on the skyrocketing cost of housing will have to be a true community effort, and I hope that includes our business community as well. Because the housing crisis is ultimately an economic crisis, and one that affects us all. As business owners and operators, we know you're invested in Somerville. It's where you are, it's where your business is, it's where your customers are, it's where many of you live. And I know you're already doing a lot for this community, and if we haven't said it enough, I apologize, and I will say it now. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for taking the risk long ago that many were refusing to do in Somerville. Thank you for reinvesting back in our community. But when it comes to the housing crisis, we're going to need all hands on deck. Housing isn't a residential community versus the business community issue. We all benefit when there's a safe, affordable housing available to everyone, a true opportunity for that, to rent or to own. So I'm looking forward to an incredible year in 2 years with you. Continue to work with the Somerville business community on the issues that matter most to you and our community. I hope tonight I made a little bit of a case for why housing needs to be on that list. I congratulate you on another successful year in partnership working with you. I look forward to the challenges with great enthusiasm moving forward, because we will succeed and people look to Somerville to take that lead. And congratulations again to all the award recipients. God bless.
Thank you, Mayor Joe. Now I have the honor and privilege to introduce our keynote speaker. Regina Pisa is Chairman of Emeritus of Goodwin, a leading Global 50 law firm with more than 1,200 attorneys. Ms. Pisa was the first woman to lead an AmLaw 100 law firm in the United States, and one of the youngest executives, at age 42, to take the helm at the time of her appointment. During her tenure as chair and managing partner of Goodwin, she spearheaded a strategic plan that led the firm through an unprecedented period of growth and resulted in its expansion throughout the United States, Europe, and Asia. Today, she is a recognized national business leader one of the nation's leading attorneys and a pioneer for the advancement of women. In 2014, the American Lawyer recognized Ms. Pisa's innovative leadership style and vision for big ideas, naming her one of the top 50 Big Law Innovators of the past 50 years. And in 2017, it chose her as its Distinguished Leader of the Year, heralding her as a pioneer whose strategic vision and innovative style transformed Goodwin and the legal industry. Ms. Pisa holds degrees from Harvard, Oxford, and Georgetown Universities. Oh, and by the way, she's local. She grew up here in Somerville. So now for our keynote address, please welcome Goodwin Chair Emeritus Regina Pisa.
Thank you for those very kind words, Kevin. So I'm delighted to be here. I'm always happy when I come back home to Somerville. Thank you, Mayor Curtatone. It was wonderful to sit and talk with you, Katiana Ballantyne. And Kevin, thank you all. I also want to give a shout out to my fellow board members from the Somerville Museum. Where are you? Where are you? Oh, there you are. Diane, Barbara, Evelyn, fellow warriors at the Somerville Museum. So I was scheduled to be in Dublin tonight speaking at an international leadership conference. However, I heard that Eugene Brune was being honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award, so I decided that I had to be here instead. I had to honor and show my respect for this man who has been my hero for so long. So, Gene, this is for you. Somerville is a special place to me. In my acceptance remarks for an award I got last week, which Gene was there, I said that I may work in Boston and I may live in Chestnut Hill, but my heart never left Somerville. As you have heard, I'm a proud graduate of Somerville High School, class of '73. Now I'm going to age myself. Billy White, who couldn't be here tonight, was a classmate along with Tony Ciccarello and Steve Mackey. And 45 years later, we're still friends. And I should give a shout out to Barry Sloan. Where are you, Barry? Is he still here? Maybe he left. So Barry and I went to college together. And what I never told Barry was that when I was a senior in high school, Marshall Sloan read my name in the newspaper that I had graduated valedictorian from Somerville High and was going to Harvard. And he called me on the phone. He said, "You need to come by the bank. I want to congratulate you." And I did. And he said, "My son, Barry Sloan, he's going to be going to Harvard too. He's going to be in your class." But he didn't grow up in Somerville, so you have to watch out for him for me. Watch over him for me. I grew up in a four-family house on Hall Street, a little street that was owned by my grandparents, and stayed in our family for over 90 years. When I grew up, there were 54 children on this little street. Who needed camp? When you could walk out of the house at any time during the day and find at least 24 kids to play with. I loved growing up in Somerville. When people ask me where I acquired the skills necessary to run an AmLaw 100 law firm with over $1 billion in revenue, I tell them on Hall Street. Everything I know about human nature, about right and wrong, about ambition and disappointment, about grit and resilience, I learned on Hall Street. Now let me talk a little bit about transformation. It seems appropriate that I should focus my remarks tonight on transformation, given that we stand in the middle of a city that is going through enormous change. But I'm not going to talk about Somerville's transformation. I'm going to talk about Goodwin, the law firm that I ran for over 16 years and took through significant change. I think that our experience and some of the lessons that we learned may be of relevance to many of you running businesses in this room. When I was elected chairman and managing partner of Goodwin in 1998, the firm was primarily known as a Boston-based firm and enjoyed a position as one of 3 dominant firms in the city. Business was good, and the firm's consistent profitability was the envy of our competitors. Our 300 attorneys operated primarily out of one office in Boston. In fact, we were very proud of the fact that we were for years the largest law firm in the United States operating out of a single office in Boston. Yet despite the fact that business as usual was good, we decided to go down a path of transformational change. Why? Why did we do that? Why would we do that? Why would we break what wasn't broken at the time? Internally, dynamics were shifting at the firm from one generation to the next, and the partners were restless. That was reflected in the fact that at the age of 42, I was elected to run the firm. More typically, law firms chose their leader from a pool of partners over the age of 60. Moreover, I was elected with a mandate for change, although nobody knew what that meant. Externally, market dynamics and increasing competition were creating a new world order for law firms. The legal industry was consolidating. In addition, our clients were becoming more sophisticated in their approach to buying legal services and were expanding nationally and internationally. If we didn't follow them where they went, it would only be a matter of time that they would seek other counsel and we would see our work drift away. By 2000, Boston, if you can believe this, had become the last bastion of insularity in the legal profession. We were the last city in the United States, major city in the United States, where there was not an invasion of out-of-town firms. Elsewhere in the country, pushed by the recession of the 90s, firms had long since moved out of their local markets. So our future was clouded by the specter of those firms, 2 or 3 times our size, deciding they wanted to move into Boston and competing with us for our client work and talent. So I should pause just to note that that fear was not unfounded. Back in 2000, when we started down this road, there were only a handful of law firms in Boston from outside of Boston. Today, there are over 45 law firms who have their base outside of Boston, now having offices in Boston. Against that backdrop, the question was, what should we do? To do nothing was tantamount to standing still, or to do nothing was tantamount to going backwards, in fact. So we set out to rethink our business and take on the challenging task of transforming the firm. During that time, we rethought our approach to everything: our structure, our practices, our geographic footprint, our branding, our compensation, and the professional development of our attorneys and staff. At the conclusion of that process, we formulated our first ever strategic plan. Now that seems commonplace today. Everybody has strategic plans, but back in 2000, that was rocket science for law firms. Most law firms were actually loose associations of lawyers who came into work every day and sort of went home at night, didn't really think of themselves as a singular business, and that had to change if we were going to compete. So as a result of that strategic plan, we did something that was unheard of for law firms. Rather than organizing ourselves around topics of law like corporate law or tax law or real estate law, we decided we were going to face the market like our clients face the market and organize ourselves around industry sectors. And we chose 5 industry sectors to organize ourselves around: technology, life sciences, private equity, financial services, and real estate capital markets. Those were the practices that would drive our national and international positioning over the next 20 years. As part of that plan, we began investing heavily in key geographies in the U.S. and abroad that would support those industry sectors and key lateral talent in those markets. So how did we do? We took this, at the time, people thought, crazy approach to the way we were organized around industries. And we focused all of our commitment on hiring, everything we did around those industries. So over this 20 period, we did remarkably well. Our lawyer headcount grew from 300 to over 1,200 lawyers today, or more than 4-fold. Our footprint grew from essentially 1 office in Boston to 13 offices worldwide that span both coasts: Boston, New York, DC, Silicon Valley, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Santa Monica, Europe, London, Cambridge, England, Paris, Frankfurt, Luxembourg, and Asia, Hong Kong. Our revenue grew from $195 million to over $1.2 billion today in revenue, more than 5-fold. And our profits grew from $85 million to over $604 million today, or more than 7-fold. The American Lawyer, the preeminent trade publication for the legal industry, profiled Goodwin in a special edition not too long ago and noted, "It's a rare case of growth without dilution. Goodwin is one of only 2 firms in the AmLaw 100 to move from the bottom half to the top half of the AmLaw 100 chart. In fact, we did better than that, with double-digit compound annual growth in revenue and profits over this period. We moved from 72nd place on the AmLaw 100 to 26th place in revenue and 25th place in profits. No law firm in the country has ever done that. We also increased fivefold our pro bono work to aid the indigent and underserved populations in our communities during this time. Last year, we logged over 72,000 hours of pro bono work, including for the Somerville Museum. As we have done well, so too have we done good. Today, we are in an elite group of firms in the country, both in terms of our revenue and profits, and also in terms of our dominance of our chosen industry sectors. So it turns out that our choosing industry sectors turned out to be our magic sauce. At the time, we thought it was crazy, but in fact, hindsight has proven it to be the correct decision. In real estate capital markets, we rank amongst the top 2 firms in the entire country. In technology and life sciences, we rank among the top 3 firms in the country, and in fact, in life sciences, we've been chosen as Law Firm of the Year for 4 years running by U.S. News & World Report. In private equity, we rank amongst the top 5, in financial services, amongst the top 6 nationwide. What that means in real terms is that there is no major transaction that is done in any of those industry sectors that we don't get a call to see if we want to make a proposal. That's what it means in real terms. I think these results reflect the extraordinary energy and resources we have invested in our transformation, and this investment has obviously given us an outstanding rate of return. We moved from being a local firm to a national firm, to what we call the super regional firm, to a national firm, to an international firm today, global firm today. While our transformation was significant, the process wasn't magic. It was a matter of defining and sharing a vision for the firm, creating a strategic plan and rigorously executing it. Morale is high at the firm today, energies are focused, and there's a palpable confidence that comes from knowing that risk can be managed simply by executing against vision and strategy. It sounds easy, but it wasn't. Everyone was asked to make a sacrifice, like the bridge closings. No. Sorry. We're all making that sacrifice now. It took a lot of hard work and commitment from many people who had the courage to break what wasn't broken, and it didn't happen overnight. So what relevance does any of this have to you in this room? Each of us, whether our business is large or small, is facing seismic changes to the way we operate. We all need to stop and take the time to think out of the box, not only about the threats in front of us, but also the threats looming on the horizon. Standing still is not an option in this environment. Moreover, we can't waste any time. If Goodwin wanted to adopt the strategy we adopted 20 years today, we couldn't. It would be too late. We probably wouldn't exist today. Do you think movie theaters saw the threat posed by Blockbuster and cable TV? Do you think that cable TV appreciates the threat currently posed by internet media streaming? Do you think taxi cabs understood the threat posed by Uber and Lyft and the extraordinary customer demand for those services? Do you think that box retailers fully grasp the speed with which Amazon Prime is putting them out of business? These aren't just examples of businesses under threat, but businesses that are being demolished. You almost need to see around the corner today in order to survive. 20 years ago, our big threats were competition created by the consolidation in the industry and out-of-town firms entering our market, coupled with the globalization of our clients. While these challenges still exist today, we have new challenges today. The first is keeping pace with technology, which is changing everything that we do. The way we perform our legal services, the speed with which our clients expect that we will deliver those services, the accessibility of advice 24/7. The speed differential is not just twice as fast or 3 times as fast. Over time, it has become exponentially faster. To put this in perspective, we invest over $30 million a year in technology. We're just a law firm. We're not iRobot. We invest just as a law firm over $30 million a year in technology, half of which is in just updating equipment, which becomes obsolete now within 12 months. And that doesn't even include salaries of our 70 IT professionals who support everything that we do. Then, of course, there's the threat of cybersecurity. It's impossible to spend enough money to eradicate the threat of cybersecurity. You just can't. There just isn't enough money to do that. The second challenge we have is retaining talent amongst the millennial generation, which will comprise over 50% of the workforce by 2021. Not 2029, not 2039, 2021. This generation simply has different expectations than we did when we started work. When I started at Goodwin in 1982 out of law school, I was just glad to have a job. I put my head down and worked as hard as I could and then looked up 37 years later. When our young lawyers hear that I've been at Goodwin for 37 years, they think there's something wrong with me. They look at me like, didn't you have any other opportunities? Because they're used to changing jobs every 2 or 3 years. But I actually believe that this millennial generation is a breath of fresh air. I'm a big advocate of this generation. Because unlike Gen X, they're prepared to stay as long as they can negotiate the terms of their engagement. I'm prepared to do that with them all day long. Among those requirements are the ability to do pro bono work alongside corporate work, preparation for leadership at an early age, and flexible work schedules. When I packed my bags to go to Oxford on a fellowship after graduating from Harvard, it was the first time that I had ever traveled outside of the United States. I remember walking from the train station to my college, repeating to myself over and over again, "We're not in Kansas anymore, Toto." I often hear those words when I recall the Goodwin that I entered from law school in '82 and the Goodwin today. We were only 120 lawyers, including my class, and we edited memos by cutting and pasting them. Unless you were lucky enough to have a typewriter with a 10-page mag card. That's a far cry from the Goodwin today, where we carry iPhones, iPads, laptops, and are accessible at home via Aruba devices. We are not in Kansas anymore, Toto. If you remember nothing else, remember that the story of Goodwin is of a firm that had the courage to take control of its own destiny and break what wasn't broken, and in the process chose survival. I wish that for each of your businesses. So now I'm going to end with some words about Somerville. I'm proud to have grown up in Somerville, and I'm proud of what Somerville is today. Everywhere I turn, there is evidence of transformation. When other cities are experiencing moribund main streets, we have Davis Square, which is a bustling and vibrant city center. I was on an airplane not too long ago and opened the in-flight magazine, the ones they put in the pockets. And I read that Davis Square was being described as the Paris of the East Coast. I was thrilled. From the new Somerville High School, to the Assembly Square redevelopment, to the Union Square redevelopment, to the leadership being provided around issues of social justice, particularly jobs and housing, which Mayor Curtatone talked about, I see a city on the move and taking its place next to its traditionally better-heeled neighbors. I extend my kudos and admiration to Mayor Curtatone for his leadership of this transformation, for having the vision and the courage to execute this bold plan for Somerville. It's not for the faint of heart. And I also thank the City Council for its stewardship of these changes. Keep up the good work, and remember, we're not in Kansas anymore, Toto.
Show of hands, anyone in the room here not feeling wicked humbled at this point? As tough an act to follow as Regina is, and thank you, Regina, for your words, we dreamt up just the ticket. Now it's time for the presentation of our John W. Fitzgerald Lifetime Achievement Award. This year's Achievement Award recipient is Eugene Brune. Gene is an Army veteran who was part of the occupational forces in Japan at the end of World War II. He went on to be a project manager in the steel fabrication industry, and then a Somerville alderman in the 1970s, mayor in the 1980s, Register of Deeds in the 1990s, 2000s, and 2010s, and a published author in 2013. And if you ask him, he probably has boxes in his trunk still selling the book. So If you haven't got your copy yet, see him after the show. He holds scores of honors, including the Somerville High School Field House and the Cambridge Health Alliance Adolescent Wing that are named after him. Perhaps more importantly, he has 2 daughters, 6 grandchildren, and 5 great-grandchildren. Here's a brief video that tells the story.
I have known Gene since I was literally in high school. Wants to do stuff for other people. Wants to make his neighborhoods, his community, and the city a better place to be.
Without his efforts, the city truly could not be where it is today.
And he would come in early in the morning and work late at night, and he gave 100% every day. He listened to everybody. He was a wonderful mayor.
What you see in Somerville today has not occurred overnight, and it certainly has not occurred by accident. The success which you see has come about by the hard work, dedication, and commitment of hundreds of people from all walks of life. The building of this vocational school is important. It is not only important because of the educational opportunities it will provide for many years to come. It is important for what it truly represents and what it really will stand for. It is a dream of our community for a better future for our children and for ourselves. It became a reality through planning, genuine cooperation, and hard work.
We were in office just a short time, and we got the phone call. Somerville had one of the worst chemical spills in the history of the state. 2 railroad tankers collided, and over 13,000 gallons of phosphorus trichloride was spilling out and headed for our sewer system. Had to evacuate, I believe, about 14,000 people, myself included. He put himself right in the middle of it. He went right down to the yards and he stayed there. And Gene was later awarded citations from the governor, the Senate, and the House of Representatives for his actions in that accident.
As part of Mayor Brune's efforts to change the image and the face of the city, he took on the giant billboard company, Ackley Communications. At the time, Somerville had more billboards per square mile than any other city in the state, and Mayor Brune wanted them taken down. After passing a city ordinance banning billboards, a battle took place in the courts, and the end result was that Mayor Brune, with the help of City Solicitor Anthony Sullivan, won the court battles, and over 90% of the billboards in the city came down. Mayor Brune received many phone calls of congratulations from fellow mayors, city and town managers, the governor, and other elected officials for his courageous efforts, which helped transform the image of the city of Somerville.
One of the things that one senses immediately when you talk to somebody from Somerville is the great sense of pride in that community. There's a lot of community pride, a sense that I'm proud to be from Somerville and it's my community.
Somerville has always been an extremely good neighbor to us, and in the past few years, particularly under the impulsion of its present mayor, the city has really been improving considerably architecturally, in terms of services, in terms of everything which makes life pleasant.
At Tufts University's 131st commencement on May 17, 1987, President Jean Mayer presented the Presidential Medal to Mayor Brune. President Mayer stated that Mayor Brune, since taking office in 1980, had contained the budget while delivering services, created housing while supporting fair housing policies, improved the environment, and built a comprehensive high school. The inscription on the medal reads, Tufts University to Eugene Brune, an exemplary mayor and a good neighbor.
Mayor Brune started his fight along with Mayor Ralph and others when he served as the Ward 6 alderman to bring the Red Line into Davis Square. Later in the 1980s, when I was the Ward 6 alderman, I saw firsthand Gene's hands-on approach and tireless efforts to bring the Red Line into Davis Square when it opened in 1984. Through his efforts, Davis Square became alive with activity and paved the way to what the Somerville business community is now, alive, well, and prospering.
He was a firm believer that government should be a solution for people's needs. In addition to creating a free flu shot program for the elderly, he also, through his leadership, established a 60-plus health center for the elderly, a pediatric clinic, and a women's health center, all with the emphasis on access to services and not worrying so much about ability to pay. In October of 2005, Somerville Hospital, in recognition of Gene's leadership in healthcare in Somerville, decided that they would dedicate a wing of the hospital in his honor and memory. It was known as the Eugene Brune Adolescent Assessment Unit. At his core, Gene loved the city of Somerville. He loved leading the city that he grew up in and he raised his family in.
Even now, at 90, he's still Kiwanis Rotary Lions Club, chairman of the Scholarship Fund, the advisory board, the Little Sisters of the Poor, somewhere to be every day, and he's still effective, and he's still a terrific and warm person. He's the best.
The 2019 John W. Fitzgerald Lifetime Achievement Award goes to Mayor Emeritus Eugene Brune.
Well, a lot of excitement in that film. I have to say that the job I loved the best in all my life was being mayor in Somerville for 10 years. We had a lot of bad days, but even the bad days, I enjoyed going to work every day. Regina, I want to thank you for those kind words. I know that I heard that you canceled a speaking engagement, but I didn't know it was in Dublin just to be here. I am so proud to be your friend, and I've known you for such a long time now, and you're my hero. You are. Thank you. First, let me allow me to introduce my family. My daughter, Corrine, and my son-in-law, Robert Delano. Corrine's not really that shy, but she is. My daughter, Debbie, and my son-in-law, Michael Cabral. Also attending is one of my granddaughters, Kristen, and her husband, Sean O'Brien. Kristen and Sean are going to give me my 6th great-granddaughter in April. Sadly, as many of you know, that after 125 years of serving the elderly poor in Somerville, the Little Sisters of the Poor will be leaving. And I have as my guests this evening, Mother Maureen, Sister Patrice, and Father Mark Hagan. We are the team that have been working to try to have someone take over where they left off, to still have the mission of helping the elderly poor, or at least the elderly. When I was first elected mayor in the 1980s, were the worst of times for Somerville. We had some very serious financial problems. Several major lawsuits due to poor assessing practices. An FBI investigation of corrupt elected officials, as well as coping with Proposition 2.5. My promise to the voters of Somerville was that if they elected me, I would work to change the face of the city and change the image of the city. I would promise them transparency in government, and that I would put an end to any and all corruption in city government. My promise became harder to fill when I soon found out how bad our financial problems were. and that we could very well be heading for bankruptcy. I realized the importance of putting together an administration of some of the best young, enthusiastic, honest, energetic, hardworking men and women that would be willing to give me all of their time and energy to make our city whole. Most lived in Somerville, and many of them are here this evening still involved in the city, and they know who they are. I also sought out the assistance of Harvard University to evaluate our financial problems and what is needed to keep our city together. I worked with Tufts University to become better partners. And most important, I met with members of the Somerville Chamber of Commerce and explained not only the problems that the city had, but also seeking their help in making our city a proud and healthy place to live, work, and do business. I met with those I considered to be the movers and shakers in the chamber, that they could help recruit others to join me. Bank presidents such as Tom Kelly, Roy Kane, Marshall Sloan, and others. I sat with the business community, Bob Arnold, Bill Shea, Joe Sullivan, Joe Benoit, Jim Bremis, Somerville Lumber, and so many others. Soon after, they were helping me in a major cleanup drive of the city by not only donating funds for rakes, shovels, brooms, T-shirts, and food, but several of them came to work in work clothes and worked alongside of me. Elected officials, families, fathers, mothers, and children. We called it Somerville is Picking Up. It brought the city together, making it a very good day for Somerville. Together, we began the best of times for the city. The chamber cooperated with me when I wanted the majority of all billboards taken down. We worked in revitalization of the squares and given business owners grants of money towards new storefronts. They also agreed with me that we finally must have professional assessors, a much-needed new police and fire station, and new zoning codes. Also very important, the chamber members knew that they had an open-door policy to my office. I always made myself available to them for ribbon cuttings, meetings, and whatever else they asked of me. Our relationship was real and healthy. I always felt that in order for the city to prosper, must also be a working partner with the business and professional community. Many important things began to happen. The renovation of city parks, city squares, playgrounds, and streets. Corruption was gone, and some went to jail. We built a new vocational trade wing attached to the high school, and the opening of the long-awaited Red Line Station in the revitalized Davis Square, bringing in several great restaurants, the Harvard Health Building, Social Security office, lots of new people, now all making Davis Square their new destination. The city became financially stable. Our bond ratings went up, and with the support of the chamber, we celebrated by holding a Spirit of Somerville night at Caruso's Diplomat in Saugus. Over 1,200 Somerville citizens, chamber members, and elected officials attended, a night that many of us will always remember. So my sincere thanks to the dedicated members of my administration. Our dedicated members of the school committee and Board of Aldermen I had then, I thank them very much. My thanks to the Chamber President, Kevin Gatlin, our Chamber of Commerce, and the people of Somerville who have always supported me, and finally the members of the selection committee that voted for me for this wonderful award. I thank you.
Thank you, Gene. A few more thank yous here before we finish up for the evening to Luke Harrier and Jim Harvey and all the crew here at the Holiday Inn for another really fabulous evening of distinctive hospitality, great food, great atmosphere, and just thank you very much. And lastly, thanks to all of you, not just for being here this evening. Thank you for your support of the Chamber, and thank you for doing what you do. The businesses that make up this city are fabulous, growing all the time, innovative. Change is just cool to walk down the street and see what else we're doing. Keep up what you do. You are very important to the city and to all the citizens, so thank you very much. And that's all we got. That's the end of the program. Thanks for joining us. Please be safe going home and have a good evening.